Hi foodie friends, today we're making some Gujarati Kadhi and Masala Bhaat, a staple in my house. For the curry, which is a stew, we're using some yogurt here and some besan, which is chickpea flour, and the chickpea flour acts as a thickener. Also, it gives it a nice taste to your stew. What we're going to do is whisk all of the besan into the yogurt first so that we don't leave any lumps in there, and then add water to this and whisk it all up. And then we're going to do a tadka with our aromatics, which is whole cumin seeds, some fenugreek seeds, which is anti-inflammatory, good for you. I'm using whole chilies. You can cut these up if you want, but I leave them whole so that I can smoosh it up in my portion and nobody complains that it is super spicy. Okay, so apart from that, we are going to use some ginger and some garlic. We're going to mince that. And then this is hing, which is a safatida. It is mainly used as a digestive in Indian cooking. It's a sulfuric taste, but it really mimics like an onion and a leek taste. I use a lot of it in most of my Gujarati food. It's just very synonymous with my cooking, with my cultural cooking actually. Okay, so then we're also going to use some ghee to bloom everything. I have some curry leaves as well on the side over there. I'm going to season the stew with salt and this jaggery powder, which is basically pre-processed sugar, and it's cane in like the purest form. It's basically powdered molasses. Okay, so let's begin. So I'm going to whisk in all of my besan into my yogurt, and you have to mix this completely. I'm going to add the salt and the jaggery in there, and then I'm going to continue smoothing this out. Make sure there are no lumps left, and then sometimes you get like sides stuck inside. Just make sure you get all of that. Add your water, keep whisking, make sure you remove all of that flour that's stuck to the container, and then just whisk together. Make sure everything is emulsified together and let it sit on the side. Meanwhile, let's heat up our pot, and we're going to add ghee to the pot. As soon as the ghee melts, we're going to add all of our aromatics, and this may take a little while. Let it just melt away. Look at how it's bubbling up. The pot was already hot. So first goes in the hing, which is the asafoetida. Let it crackle a little. Add your fenugreek seeds, and then immediately just roll it around a little bit. Add your cumin seeds, and then to this you're going to add your curry leaves, and then your chili peppers, and then your garlic and ginger goes next. Make sure you don't cook this for more than 30 seconds, otherwise you'll have a bitter taste. Garlic should not be cooked for longer than that. You do not want to brown this, okay? Once that's done, you're going to go ahead and add your yogurt mixture. Okay, now what happens is when you're making kadhi, you have to constantly stir this mixture so that the yogurt and the besan does not break. Okay, remember, we don't want the milk solids to separate. We want to continuously stir this till it comes together. We're going to bring it up to a boil, and what I normally do is I wait till it kind of starts boiling over, and it happens gradually, but slowly keep mixing it in, because otherwise if you don't pay attention to it, it does break. And if you break your kadhi, it is not a pleasant look, and it's not supposed to be that way. Okay, now notice how thin my kadhi is. This is how we like it. My dad likes it a little thicker, so my mom uses a little bit more yogurt, and that's how she makes it. But we like ours a little soupy, and I always serve mine with a side of a lentil dish, except in this case we're making the masala bhaat, so I don't need the lentils, but I'll always do like a mung bean on the side, which is a drier version of a mung bean curry, and then it's all mixed in with the rice to eat. So look at how this is coming through. As it heats up, it's going to start foaming on the top, but you want to do this constantly. Stir it gently, okay, and then just let it come up to a nice boil. Look at all that froth that's happening, all that foam that's happening on the top. That's what's going to start happening. Once you achieve this foam, that means that you have successfully prevented this from splitting or curdling, and just continue boiling. Look at the steam come up. Of course, keep stirring it, and then you'll see that more steam will start letting out, and just keep an eye. You cannot move from this once you start making it. There's no foolproof way of making this except for keeping an eye on it. Okay, so this is almost ready. See how it's boiling up, and what I do is I keep the ladle in there. That's my trick of making sure that it doesn't over pour out of the pan. Okay, so again, as soon as it starts coming up again, stir, 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 lower down your heat a little bit, and then this is going to be brought up to boil one more time and finished up with cilantro before serving. Let's make our rice now. So I have leftover rice from last night. I'm heating up my pot. That's my rice, and then into the rice I'm going to add the cashews and some raisins. I only use a little bit of raisins because nobody else likes them in the house, so I add just about enough for me because everyone will fish them out and put them in my plate. And then I have onions and mixed vegetables and your usual suspects. In this case, just the red cayenne pepper, turmeric, cumin and coriander powder, and a little bit of garam masala. So our pan is heated. Let's add a little bit of oil. Remember, our rice is already infused with ghee. Otherwise, I would be making this with ghee. Into the hot oil, I'm going to put in my whole spices like the star anise, cardamom, cloves, black peppercorns, as well as a cinnamon stick. Let it infuse into the oil, and then once that happens, put a little bit of cumin and let that crackle. We're gonna cook down these onions. Just sweat them a little. You don't want them fully cooked. And look at that kadhi, it's still boiling. I'm gonna turn this off now. Okay, but it's completely done, and see how it thickened up. So it's perfect consistency for the dish I'm making today. In other cases, I may go a little more thicker if I desire it for whatever it is that I'm accompanying it with. Okay, so just spread your onions on the side, and let's toast up our cashews. And we're just going to let these cook till they turn a nice pink color. And then, of course, add the raisins to this after the cashews are done. And my husband loves fruits and nuts in his Masala Bhaat or even his curries. He's just a huge fan of fruits and nuts in his Indian food. Okay, so the raisins are going in. Now this is also how I make a Kashmiri rice, except that at this stage I would put in some dried fruit in there, like pineapples and cherries. Okay, so season this up with some turmeric, some red pepper, some cumin and coriander powder, and then some garam masala. Mix all of that together with the frozen vegetables. Look at the vegetables. I haven't even really defrosted them. They came directly from the refrigerator. Season that with salt, and now you're going to cook this down completely until all the vegetables are nice and tender. Okay, this may take a little bit of time. It took me about 5 minutes on medium flame. Just cook, cook, cook. And then what I did is this part I did not film, but I added just a 1/4 cup of rice over this. I'm sorry, 1/4 cup of water, and then I spread all the rice on top. I covered the lid and I let it steam through, and then I opened it and I'm smooshing up all the rice and separating all the grains. I should have put a fork through this beforehand, but I didn't. And that's it, guys. Voila!